Hello, welcome to the Just the Runners podcast. It's one of our book club editions. And the book this month, oh, so this needs faith, uh, is This Is Not About Running by Mary Cain. And today I am joined, well, we'll start off with, I think it was her. Was this your idea, Erin? You can go first.
It was not my idea. Not guilty on this one. Last month's or the last one we read was.
Let's give me credit.
No credit needed. Or wanted, I don't think.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, how are you, Erin? And what did you think of the book?
I'm good, Bruce. Thanks for asking. I'm on Goodreads, and I gave the book 3 stars, which is like middle of the road. And my reasoning behind it was I felt like I listened to the audiobook version of it, so maybe that has something to do with it too. So it is the author who narrates the book, and I just felt like I was angry or upset at her and at Nike throughout the entire book. And I think that some of it's probably justifiable and some of it's probably just the woman in me, like upset that she let some of the things go on. However, there's a part of me that's understanding that a young adult female probably doesn't have the same mindset that a older adult female has, and so that probably plays into some of the things that happened to her. Um, she was very emotional telling her story, and angry at some points in it as well. I don't know. I was just kind of like all over the place with the book, and I didn't really have like a good that was a solid story that I would recommend my friends hearing. So that's why I gave it the middle of the road 3 stars. And that's
Amy?
all I'll say.
We'll give you more time then. Amy, how are
All
you?
right. Hi. So I read the book, like instead of doing the audio. So I didn't hear Mary Cain actually read it. So it was only my emotions that were coming into play, not hers through her voice. Um, I don't think it's a book I can rate on like liking it or not because like it was fine. It was well written. It was like easy to follow. Like in that sense, good. But I'm with Erin in I guess she just from like page 1 was a victim. She,
Mhm.
just played the
Yes.
victim, um, and starting as like a middle school girl. And I get it. She's a middle school girl. Like she doesn't know
Mhm.
how to manage all this things. She's extremely talented at something and probably was in some ways like maybe made fun of and treated poorly in things because, she had a gift that other people didn't. But instead of learning how to deal with that and her parents like helping her learn how to deal with that and her teachers and her counselors and her coaches, like all these adults in her life who should have been helping her develop those skills, just kind of all like let it go on. And then they just send her. She's like 14 years old and they just send her off across the country to live without like any teacher or any adult, any like I mean the psychiatrist was even fake. It's not even like a real
Yeah.
um so I think it was kind of expected that she was going to continue to have the reactions that she had as things happened because she never was taught or given the chance to develop the ability to stick up for herself and learn how to manage that when things aren't going your way or that people are mistreating you. So it's just I don't know, like maybe the adults, especially like just the adults at the high school, the parents of the other kids and things like maybe they were really that bad. But it's just hard to believe that, it's just like everyone was out to get her.
Mhm.
Um and it didn't seem like she really had anyone on her side to help her. And then the other thing I couldn't get over was like it's not like she naturally developed like this eating disorder. It was like all the adults wanted her to have one. So they're like forcing her into this like eating disorder land that I don't think she would have necessarily gone into had they just had maybe like a nutritionist or something like that, at the Nike project, working with the athletes on what to do and what not to do. So I don't know how you have this like $1 billion company, industry, world class coaching, and all this, and don't have someone guiding people on what they should eat and not eat, and all of that. So it was hard to read in that sense of like who is looking out for this, 13, 14, 15-year-old girl as she's getting out there, and then like it just never got better.
Mhm.
All right. Patrick, how are you today?
Hey, hello everyone. I'm doing good, thanks. But I agree with both Aaron and Amy. I wasn't in a good mood reading this. Um, this is a disturbing book. I've been in business and life long enough that I always like to hear multiple sides of the story before I pass too much judgment. But my goodness. So, I mean, just before the chapters even started, I could just hear and feel anger right away. I just, and it's so fascinating that you mentioned that a little bit. You mentioned that term, Aaron,
Mhm.
um, because I mean, right in the first couple pages, she says how Steve Prefontaine was being worshipped because he's dead, but it wouldn't be the same if it were her. And I'm like, whoa, right away? That's a
Mhm.
bomb. What are you saying? What's wrong? And then in the same opening, she goes on to talk about people were pretending to be an expert on mental health. And it almost felt like to me she was pointing to Kara's book, Kara Helter's book. I don't know. I started, my mind was spinning right away. It was a very difficult read. I agree, Amy. I actually put that in my Goodreads review. I did give it a 5 star only because it took a lot of guts, I think, to put this out there. And so I respect that. I really do. But Amy, you said it well. It's like it was a series of continuous unfortunate events. And I don't understand how so many bad things could happen to one person, uh, which is why I'd almost like to hear other people's side of the story because it's like, I can't believe parents are that angry and that mad at teenagers, right? Her friend's not even a friend, her teammate's mother that would constantly belittle her, and the coaches wouldn't back her up. It almost seems like it's a dream. Like how could anyone have such a miserable life doing this? Her high school coach was Mitchell, a very odd person, and
Mhm.
the things that he talked about in front of the girls. I mean, I understand that when we're young and our brains aren't developed yet, it might be hard to speak up. But the theme I kept coming back to in this book was, where are her parents in this? I mean, we are the ones responsible for their upbringing, not their coaches, it's not their teachers, it's their parents. And her dad was a doctor, and so when she was injured and getting confusing information about what to do to help the healing process, why isn't there a section in here about why my dad didn't step in and demand to see the x-rays? Or I just, there were so many concerns and questions that I had while reading it that I just kept saying, I need that person's side of the story. I need this person's side of the story because I can't believe how a wound continually could be put wide open and made worse with everybody she was meeting. Everybody that was involved in her life seems like was a screw up, and Nike is the leading cause here. I mean, there's some seriously disturbing senior management running that company when this was going down, and Salazar is just a waste of time. I think anything he touches is an embarrassment, and yet Nike continued to tolerate this. And again, so from the business side of it and from the people side of it, I just kept I was disturbed by it. It just bothers me to really think that people are running a business this way and coaches are leading this way and parents aren't leading how they should be. So I had a really hard time with it. I just don't get it. I guess, um, and then at the end of the book, I put in my review, Aaron, you probably saw it. At the end of the book, um, Mary starts to lose me a little bit. It's on page 314 of 317. So you're all the way through it now. And all of a sudden, she makes a statement that I am not one of my interviews and I am not this book. And I'm like, what does that mean? My wife sometimes thinks I take things too literal. Am I taking that too literal? You are this book. It's your memoir. You're everything in this book. What do you mean you're not one of your interviews and you're not this book? So I don't know. I was confused, Bruce. I was in a fog. I was sat there wondering too, who recommended this?
The guy that's not on the call right now.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
it's-
not mad that I read it.
No,
I
it was
No.
interesting,
I
but
just
it-
don't
it-
understand. Like, there's so, I mean, some people should be like arrested if everything she's
right,
writing. Like,
right.
I found
Oh,
it interesting, and I agree with everybody. It was a tough thing to read about. Uh, I did find it very emotional listening because I did do the audiobook like Aaron, and I did find it very difficult listening to her so you could hear the emotion or the thing. But
Mhm.
at certain points, why didn't the parent? I'm with Patrick. Why aren't the parents stepping in? This guy's a doctor. There had to be other school options. I don't know if there's
mhm.
open enrollment in that area or not, but just find somewhere else to send her to school. He had, I'm just saying, maybe a doctor you would think be able to afford private school. Uh,
I don't think that that would have changed the outcome based on
but
the amount of other finger pointing she does, like, and I
yeah,
think that's
Mm,
Patrick, I think that's what she's getting at towards the end is I think that she probably got some feedback from her friends and family that, like, previewed the book, and they were like, "You better put in there, like, something to cover, like, saying that this is not you," but it
mm,
100% is her, and she is somewhat to blame in all of this.
well, when she
yeah.
started talking about cutting herself and considering suicide and those emotional problems, I'm wondering if some of the other aspects were blown out of proportion or that she was overly taking, you know,
Yes.
may,
mhm.
yeah, if everything she said about those some of those parents, I mean, that was horrendous, and you definitely should not be these are supposed to be your teammates, you should all be working together, and for a coach to have a girl track star with this much talent, you would have thought that coach would wanna take huge advantage of this to make his team look great, and it seemed like
Mm,
he was more worried about these other parents who were influential in the school or whatever and their kids. So, I mean, you would think on track, figuring out who's the best, it should just come down to you can just look at their times in the races and tell where the weak spot. And according to her, they were blaming her for them losing. And obviously, if one and I mean, I'm sure the records would show that she was not the slowest runner. She was probably the fastest in every race she ran with her school in high school. And the fact that she was able to move and go to a pro team and get coached. I mean, we all know about Salazar, but that was her dream coach. So she probably had the attitude that he could do no wrong for the longest time.
I think that coupled with how far can how bad do you want something to block out all the negative, like, weighing that, and again, I think that, like, I'm trying to remember that she is very young at this point, but I still think that even in a developing brain, there should have been some sort of alarm bells for some of the things. Like, when she's sleeping naked, freaking put a bra on then, like, if you know he's coming back multiple times, like, I would never sleep naked again. I would never give him the opportunity to look at me like that again, and I don't think that that takes an adult brain to figure that out.
That was just twisted, that whole section.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand what she was thinking. Um, it's funny. I think back to um, our daughter wanted to go to Spain for an immersion, during college, and so she was 19. It was her second year, and my wife and I were just, oh my God, that's such a huge, big deal to send away, a child to another country and stuff.
Mhm.
And I remember that feeling. I don't get that feeling from this book on what her parents were thinking. In fact, I don't think she shared a lot of that, enough of that in here. Almost like I wonder what her relationship is with her parents.
Because she never, I mean, she always spoke highly of her. Like her parents, I feel like were the only ones she really spoke highly of
Mhm.
throughout
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
book. I just thought it was really interesting that like mom didn't go with her or like the family didn't relocate. Like I just feel like, even with a lot of these like Olympian kids and things like that, when there's these gymnasts, like they're going away that young, like their family is like often relocating to go with them, or like I just
Mm,
couldn't imagine sending, like I have 14-year-olds, like I couldn't imagine sending them across the country by themselves. They're still trying to like do school, but then they're professional level athlete. Uh, Like how are you not, more with them? Because a 14-year-old doesn't know how to navigate everything in life. And it's
Mhm.
clear that this girl needed counseling, like intense counseling, well, she was still in middle school
Mhm.
and never, wasn't getting it. So it was just like a whole recipe for disaster. Like it was inevitable that
mm.
it was not going to end
Yeah.
well.
It truly was a train wreck that we could all see coming.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it does seem like she went from a bad coach to a horrible person as a coach. Because I mean, at the time, Salazar had success as a coach. Everybody wanted to run for him. He was the star for Nike's team and as their coach, and he had a great running career himself. But obviously, from what everything that's come out from him after that, he definitely she definitely was in a bad situation there, where if she coulda got somebody who would have been supportive of her and I mean, maybe with emotional and mental problems, it might not have made a difference because she
And
might
she
still have
she
thought
had yeah, she had no peers. Like there were no other teenagers, no other, kids
Mhm.
out there with her training. So even her teammates are all adults at this point. She's not with her. Was it just one sister that she had, or did she have more than one sibling? But one sister. Like she's not with her
Mm.
sibling. She's not with other kids. She's just thrown into this adult world.
yeah, that
Can you imagine?
it's hard to believe somebody that young, even when she got into her 18 and 19, it's just and she's still talking about how our teammates are 30, they're gonna have nothing in common, so if
Mhm.
to not even at that point, to not have any family or nothing, no, just be out there by yourself, depending on basically your coach. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
We
know
have
what else to
nothing. We have
say.
nothing to say.
Yeah, yeah. I just, it's, it was hard to read. It was, and the things that I don't know. I keep getting back to Salazar. The things that he would talk about to her. This is just twisted. Who does this? Alberto on page 148 he shares his low testosterone. What the hell does that have to do with anything? What are you
Mhm.
sharing that stuff with her for? He's been nearly divorced a couple times. That's not. How do you talk to a 16-year-old about that isn't family?
He
I'm sorry, that's twisted.
The whole thing is very twisted on both ends, I
Mm,
think.
Yeah.
But
the
I
thing
I
about
go ahead.
I was just saying he got obsessed with her weight and saying she's overweight all the time,
yeah.
and I've heard that about him before that he was obsessive about his runner's weight, and
Mhm. Well, what did he say? She's like 5'7", 5'8", and was like
120
120. I mean,
pounds
that is thin
skin and
and not
bones.
muscular. Like,
Right.
I mean, if you're 5'7" with any amount of muscle, at all, you're going to be 120 pounds. So it's
I'm wondering how she was fueling her workouts, eating as little as she did.
mhm,
She wasn't.
Yeah.
There's no way.
yeah, why bones are breaking and
Yeah.
there's no period and the reds and everything else. Yeah, she wasn't.
We didn't talk much about Darren. I think that was you, Aaron, that talked to my non-licensed psychologist or whoever mentioned it. But
Amy, yeah.
how did Amy? How does Nike not vet that out? How do they not do their due diligence?
Mind
I
blowing.
mean, or like, did they know when he was just like a friend, like, he's a
Yeah.
friend, a guy's guy, and they just like had him in there anyway?
I I
I
get
don't
the
know.
impression that he was Salazar's friend, and because they changed the title, his title, they didn't
Mhm.
fire him.
Mm,
They didn't
Mhm.
let him go when it came out, so it wasn't. Maybe they already knew that. But why would you put somebody in that position that isn't qualified
Right.
or isn't doesn't
yeah.
have training?
Right. And she probably should have been in there with a woman, like a female
Yeah.
psychologist, because of all the things she was going through that were woman related. Just,
Sure. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
uh, I'm glad I'm done with this book. Because as a father, it makes me furious. I mean,
I would love to hear like a follow up from her parents on if they just like supremely regret, the decisions they made or
mm,
Yeah, you would think somewhere in there. I mean, if you have children, Amy and Patrick, you have a daughter. Uh,
mm,
so you'd think somewhere there you would have stepped in. I mean, she's a great runner, but at one point do you say if you can't put her in another school to run with somebody else or try to change the location or do something, I'd almost be, well, we're just not going to do that because she talked about she originally was on swim team. She's
mhm.
she talked about getting along with her teammates and everything. So I'm not sure if
And I mean kids are pretty good sometimes at hiding things from their parents and she was far away, so to some degree she may have been able to lie about some of it and they may have wanted to kind of just see what they wanted to see and but you think when they were physically together that it would have been really hard for her to hold it together and if she's is to the point where she's looking severely underweight and things like that, you think they would have thought. But then again, you think, okay, she's with like a world class coach. He knows what he's doing. So I don't know, but
yes, she had the whatever Salazar wants her to do, she tried to do.
well,
yeah.
Like a brief Google search about her parents says that they were the ones who actually staged the intervention for her, prioritizing her mental and physical well being over her professional running career. So Mary Cain couldn't even shut herself down, which isn't
Mm,
surprising based on the book.
hmm
But what an environment she was in. And I don't think her own well-being wasn't good from the get-go, and then it just unfortunately compounded for herself throughout the time that she spent with Nike and these people.
right. Because you think about like this, I mean, at this point, we've all read several of these books about, especially we've read several female runner books and even some of the male ones, you get to the point where they're talking about how they've developed eating disorders and different
Mhm.
psychological things along the way. And what has probably saved some of them is that they were a little older when they got into it, so they had a better foundation of kind of that frontal lobe development and kind of learning some of those coping things as teenagers before they were thrown into this world in their 20s. But like she didn't have that chance. Like it was terrible for her at 12, 13, 14 years old. And then you throw her into this and she just can't navigate it. So no wonder.
Mhm.
But, I mean, every story that we've read, every book that we've read, to some degree, all of these athletes have gone through that where they're just like physically, mentally, emotionally so torn down that they can't perform.
mm,
You, it would be unbelievable to see what they probably could do if they actually were doing this with the proper nutrition and with the,
mm,
proper mental health care and things like that.
Yeah, you'd think Nike and a big organization like that would have nutritionists in there uh, to help them. Just to me, well, they should be fueling correctly for their workouts and their races. You'd think they would have a proper sports psychologist there, perhaps, you know, especially dealing with young people, um, teenagers who are turning pro and this. Well, what quite I do wonder why would someone stay with an abusive coach like Salazar or even the high school coach Mitchell?
I think you have to, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I think you have to like weigh the pros and cons. And I think that her pros was that she wanted to go pro. And so you just kind of overlook some of those things, even though they're big alarm bells for us, as normal people, normal adult people, like Amy keeps saying, like she's a child. She's a very young adult going through all this. So like the alarm bells that we have as like mature adults, I don't think are the same for them. And that's what I kept trying to tell myself, like, that myself would never say yes to this, or I would never do that, or I would never allow for this, and I would stand up for this. But if I think back to my teenage self, who's more naive and easily persuaded for things. Shiny new objects look really fun when you're a kid. And you don't think about the consequences of what that shiny new object is going to cost you. And it costs her health and her mental health and all of the things. And I think that's kind of where it goes. You just kind of overlook some of that stuff.
Agree. I agree. We probably all do that in our decision making process, right? Of pros and cons.
Right.
Sometimes
Mm.
we sometimes make decisions based on the stronger pros, yet those cons, we're not thinking about the level deep of those cons and how the negative impact could be on us in 5 years, by making a decision like that. So that just comes with maturity and time. You learn how to do that better. But again, what you're saying, Erin, points right back to her parents. Her parents have to be
Yeah.
helping her make this decision.
Yeah.
Her brain is too young to think about these tough things. Oh, hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
sure in
well,
hindsight too, they're probably like, I could have done this better or I could have done that. And I think that, I mean, I'm not a parent myself, but I think that that's true probably of every parent
it is.
to some degree. You put your trust in
Mhm.
other capable adults' hands, hoping for the best. We all want to think the best of our humankind. However, as we all know, there's quite some awful people out there, and she fell into the hands of one of those.
I often tell parents of younger kids that, as your children get older, and yeah, we have our daughter's 34 and our son's 33. So we have two children, and they still have issues, but their problems get more complicated. They get more adult complicated versus so and so isn't playing with me on the playground, or so yeah, the problems just don't go away. And we as parents are still parents. They still come to us for questions. And if they don't, we're asking them questions, trying to pick on what's going on in their head right now, or what's bothering them that
Absolutely.
maybe we can sense about,
Yeah, and
so
and and
yeah.
those coping skill like those things that you taught your children when they were 3 years old and someone bit them, and then when they were, 6 years old and someone hit them, and then when they were 10 years old and someone was calling them a name, like, all of that they learned to like, all throughout their lives helps them make the decisions they make now as 30-something-year-olds, and I feel like Mary never had that for whatever reason, like,
Yeah.
she wasn't coping with it well at even though, those young ages kind of when the book started.
Hmm.
Do you think she was taking a chance coming out with her story and putting the book out here to make, even there's always going to be people that don't believe you.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think it's always a risk to put your life out there, just like we do with social media. You're always open to someone else's opinion and thoughts, and you've got to have some tough skin to put yourself out there. So I give her kudos for putting it all out there. I think that she tells a story of how she believes things happened, and obviously we've all kind of
Mhm.
formed the same opinion about her life, but it is her life, and you know she has some great things that came out of her running career as well. So she has stuff to be proud of. And everyone's got a story to tell. It's just a matter of how many people want to hear your story.
Well, she now works with some advocacy groups, so maybe something good did come out of it.
Mhm.
Uh, like I said, the one part that I thought was some of the worst, I mean, from a runner's standpoint or running, was Salazar pushing her to keep running when she was injured and in a lot of pain, trying to say it was shin splints or something. And turns out to, I mean, from the sounds of it, it was obvious that she even thought it was something else or thought and worse.
I
She
just
has
looked to
stress
you.
fracture.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that was weird when the first x-rays, they were like, oh, it's
Mm.
inconclusive or it's fine or, and that's like where I don't know what Aaron said about, well, dad's a doctor. Like, I'm a teacher. Like if something weird is happening with school stuff, I'm the first one who's like, let me see the thing. Like I couldn't imagine as a doctor not being on top of like every x-ray that my professional athlete child, has ever
Right.
had.
Right.
I actually
Yeah.
think Salazar covered some of that up.
Yeah, and that's true too. Yeah, we don't know how much was getting back to the parents. That's very true.
Yeah.
Like if he
And
said it's
and
fine, that was a conversation with the parents. They
That's-
probably believe him and
well, even the tactic that he would take, where if you questioned him, he'd say, "What do you question my who was a coach?" You know
mhm.
how. Ooh, how dare you say that? I'm like, whoa. we if I haven't shared this before, but I've worked with a lot of different people, and I have takeaway from everybody I've worked for, managers. And one of the I worked for once said, "Trust, then validate. Trust, then validate." And I can understand why Mary trusted Salazar. I can understand why the family trusted Salazar. Nobody went and validated any of what he was saying or proposing or doing or helping her with her mental issues or helping her with her physical issue. Nobody was validating anything. So it's kind of funny that that moment from my career came up from one of the managers who taught me that trust, then validate. So I don't know. It's my 2 cents.
Well, I think we all agree it was a tough read, but I think if you do, it might be something for, especially for people that have children or are involved in youth sports, to make sure they're looking for those type of uh people.
Oh, really sorry.
It's okay,
We've got a we've got a new person to comment on the book.
Almost made it through. Yeah.
Patrick. I just got to know. This is the first time I've seen you not go to your notes.
Oh, no, there.
Oh, they're there.
Oh, yeah. 3 pages, and then the 4th page was that picture of all of her injuries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
no, no, Bruce, I had them right here.
I missed them. Okay, I'm sorry. Everybody.
I figured he had notes when he said page 314 of
Oh, yeah.
317 or page 148. I was like, he's got some
No,
notes.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to impress you with my number memory at all. It's right here in front of me. I hate them because
Uh,
I just have to. I don't know. It's just something I do. It's just a nerdy thing I do, just so I
oh
can
no,
always go back to them.
there are times I'm like I should take some notes for this, and I'm not very good about that. I gotta get better because I'm supposed. So,
Yeah.
but
I
I put
think
them
it's
on my
harder when you're
phone.
doing audio too to take
Mhm.
notes because
yeah,
you don't even
Yeah.
have a pen or pencil with you and you're just you're
a
listening.
lot of times I'm driving while I'm doing the audio,
Yeah.
so it'd probably be a bad thing to start writing notes while I'm doing
Yeah. I'm often cooking while I listen to audio. So it's just not
that.
opportune to write things down.
That is really cool though that Aaron listened to the audio. Aaron, did you know, they sometimes say that you can hear passion in people's voices. Did you hear the anger? Did you hear the
Yes,
hurt?
she had the
Okay.
infliction for all of her emotions that she felt. You can tell she was like on the verge of tears at some point, and you can
Okay.
tell that she was angry at other points. And it absolutely, it was the most emotionally driven memoir that I've listened to. out of all of them. And I'd listened to a variety of different memoirs about people. So
I,
that's, I think, what made it even more so like I could just, on top of my own emotions, like she had hers too that came out in the book, which I thought was good
Yeah.
and appropriate.
Good.
I think if they had
Yeah.
somebody else read it, do the audio, it would have come out different. It might not have been as emotional.
For
Mhm.
sure. I think it still would have read the same because I think we all kind of like
Yeah.
got the same emotion out of it. But yeah, I think it's always better done. I don't know that I've ever read a memoir that wasn't done by the author themselves, audiobook wise. I have to go back and look, but as I
They
usually
say
listen
that's
to
how you should
theirs.
do it.
Yeah,
They say that's how you
absolutely.
should do
Tell
it
your own
because it's
story.
Mhm.
yeah, it's a passionate story, so why not tell it, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered that. This is not about running. And I think we all had kind of the same feelings about it. Like I said, it pulled me in. I was interested in reading it, but there were some really tough parts. And some of these parents in the high school scenes are just to act that way with a teenager would be ridiculous. And need to keep sports. I mean, gotta keep things a little more in perspective, especially when it sounded like they were dealing with 12 to 14-year-olds, just even high school kids. Uh, and would we like to pick a book for next time? And move
I'm
on.
scared. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I know.
Some
I'm
something that
I've been
makes us laugh
perusing.
or smile.
Yeah.
Please, let's find a good, happy book.
Anyone have a suggestion?
I'm on Google right now, and I'm not really seeing anything that we haven't already talked about or hasn't been out for, like, a while.
We could do an
Like, s
order one.
Sometimes
yeah,
it's easier to get them if they're a little older, just like from the library. Because sometimes
yeah.
the brand new stuff, like this one, I thought I wasn't going to get in time, but I was on the wait list and it came in time. So
And yeah, I joked about who picked this out. I'm glad we picked this out. I really am because one, it was new, and I love reading new things. So no, I'm glad we picked this out. It just made me
I,
feel bad, and so I
Yeah.
want to find something
I
good that
wasn't.
makes us
Yeah.
feel good.
I've gotten one that I read before, I think it's on my shelf. She has paced marathons and such. She actually paced the Youngstown Marathon 5 hour or 5:30 one year. She paced my first marathon in Columbus. It's called, shoot, do I not have it? Let me see. This is it. It's, Perseverance: How a Determined Athlete Tenaciously Overcame a Stroke. It's by Marie Bartoletti. I think she has a great outlook on life. She is a fantastic human being and a well-accomplished runner and triathlete by background. Her story was fantastic, I thought.
I love the title. Yeah.
All right.
And it's up for grabs if Amy or Bruce, if you both want. It's not too long, I don't think.
Uh,
It's like 163 pages. So both could probably get through it. I would like it back, but um,
I'll check out the libraries. What
okay.
was the author's last name?
Bartoletti. I'll send you a picture of it, Amy,
Oh, can we just put it on the
or I
page?
can put it on that page. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
but her story I thought was fantastic. It's been a little while since I've read it, but I think that you guys would enjoy it because I'm not seeing
Sounds
it
good.
on Google. That's like sticking out to me.
I'm looking at our bookshelves back here. I like what Aaron suggested.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that.
I'll borrow it from her.
Like I said, if you both want it, it's up for grabs. I'll bring it Wednesday and Saturday.
How do you spell Bartoletti?
Bartoletti.
Oh, I
Thank
had
you.
the O wrong.
I got the
Trying to
Spanish
find
one.
her on Goodreads, but I don't find it there.
She's probably a one and done author. Um, we'll see when it was.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the copyright on it. I've had it for a little while.
I do remember her being at the Youngstown Marathon.
She's at least come once, and I know at least paced it once when they actually obviously had the marathon. Um, but yeah, I just think she's an amazing human being. 2019.
Oh, it's not that old.
Mm-mm.
Well, we got that picked out. So if anybody's still listening to us chat about what book we're reading next and would like to join us, you are invited.
I'll post a picture of it.
Yeah, if you could, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
Will
Well,
do.
all right. Was there anything else you guys, since we're here, any other topics running related or not?
When's anybody's next race? Just ask that.
Firecracker 4 miler coming up.
Okay.
Canfield.
The 4th of July.
Or do I? Nice. Good. I'll
Right
be there.
now, my next race that I'm signed up for is Columbus. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to get into the shorter one. Anything else between now and then?
I
How
have
about you?
nothing. How
You have
about you,
nothing
Pat?
Sunday.
Aaron, I
I'm
thought you said you signed up for Columbus.
I did not.
I sense peer pressure.
I love Columbus. It doesn't take much peer pressure. I'm just waiting to see if something else lines up with it that I'm
Yeah.
looking at. So
I've got the Johnny Cake Jog coming up. It's going to be its 50th anniversary, and it's been, a really popular race in the past. They have a great idea this year. So they originally, when you could first sign up, it was only $10 because that's what it cost 50 years ago. And then in May, it went up to 15, and I think now it's only $20. So they're just raising it $5 a month. So it's really a 5 mile race. But I'm also signed up for the Columbus Full, and training started today. Today,
woo.
18 weeks of training I'm going to put in.
18
So
weeks.
No,
yeah,
I don't want it to be fall. I just want it to be summer forever.
I know. I know. I hear ya. I agree. I hate to think about that far in advance and it being chilly, but I'm excited. Anyway, I actually enjoy training in the heat in order to run, hopefully, a cooler fall race.
Mhm.
So, and I'm going to have a ball. You guys might already know what I'm doing, but it's pretty cool. So, I'm actively involved with fundraising for the Nationwide Children's Hospital as I do every year. The cure is going to be actually more unique because a month before the race, they have a character breakfast for the children that are at each of those tents and each of those miles. You know how they have mile
Mhm.
champions for the
Yep.
race? And so I pitched an idea. Did I tell you guys this? I pitched
I,
an
I
idea.
don't know, and I don't
I-
know. I'm excited to
Okay.
hear about it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool what I'm doing. So I pitched an idea to them because I go to the breakfast the month before, and it's like being at a Disney event, a Disney breakfast. It's so well put on at a beautiful hall on the campus of the Children's Hospital in Columbus. And there's about 12 to 15 people that dress up as characters that the kids it's just so beautifully done. Anyways, I pitched an idea to give me a table and let me empower the kids, build their self-esteem by asking them to come up and asking for their autograph on my shoes that I'm going to wear on
Oh.
race day. After they do that, I have a local Columbus artist painting friendship rocks. It'll be all over the table, and then they'll get to be able to pick a custom friendship rock just to remember the moment by. Then on race day, I'm not really running for time. I am running to stop by every tent, all 24 tents, and stop by for a minute or two just to say hello again to the families, show them the shoes, maybe capture a picture, and just give the children well wishes, just high fives, and just talk to them for a minute. And so I'm looking forward to it. And then, after that's all said and done, I have a pair of shoes that every time I run in them, uh, it's gonna bring back the memory of that day, so I just can't wait. So, yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this year's race.
Well, that's pretty special, and I think that we invite you to share your link for your fundraising for Columbus Marathon, share it on our Just
Oh,
the Runners page. So that way we can work to get some
okay.
contributions for that. I think that's
Mm.
amazing.
Well, Bruce
I
is running it
love that
too.
race.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I do
trying.
too.
I gotta get mine out there too. I did
Yeah, Bruce has to.
fundraising also.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
share the links.
Patrick has a
Yep.
much better story. I'm
Oh, I've
We
just
can
been
divide
lucky,
and conquer.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can share.
yeah.
And then the Children's Hospital did an article on me and my daughter because they had a new section called "What's Your Why" and "Why Do You Fundraise?" And so in the May edition of the Children's Hospital magazine, there's a whole page article on me and my daughter because she's the reason behind why I fundraise. So
Awesome.
I've put that out on social media. If you follow me at Why Run When, you'll be able to see it because I'm going to use it as uh, a primary I don't know, primary advertising uh, campaign, if you will. So for the fundraising. So, anyways, no, I'm into it. I'm really into it,
Great.
Aaron. I love that race too. So
Yeah.
It's a great race. I've loved it in the past. I was supposed to be there last year in all
yeah,
that fun weather they had.
we were supposed to. In fact, we were supposed to meet
Yes.
finally. Yeah. So
Unfortunately, things happened that with I got injured and didn't make it. So that's one of my main reasons for wanting to go back this year. Get back there and make up.
your redemption race.
Oof. Uh, I may, hopefully, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just trying to start doning up my runs longer now, and still get some shin pain, and that still got to get more strength in my hamstrings. But if the left leg was as good as the right one, I'd be all right. Except my lungs aren't there.
Keep working at it, Bruce. It'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yep. You
Just
got
takes
there.
time.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. And thank you for coming on and sharing your views on this book, on the This Is Not About Running, on a podcast that's all about running. And once again, oh, it's getting late, Amy. I'm
I know.
sorry.
It's bedtime. I know.
Uh, well,
That's like my fifth yawn.
thank you, everybody, once again.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
Good
Good to see you.